So reprogramming your mind is the fastest and only way to get and stay in shape, and I'm going to teach you exactly how to do that within this video. So I have a client who lost 7 kg from December to now, which is actually really good, and he messaged me saying that he's going through a lot of mental effort, that things feel hard for him to get to the gym and do the things necessary. And this is weird because you obviously think that if someone's doing really well, then it will feel easier. But that's actually not the case. You see, both the external and internal need to develop in order for something to be sustained. And this is proven by the fact that 80 to 95% of people who lose weight end up regaining it all back within 3 to 5 years. So pretty much all the work that you've done has gone to waste. So I'm going to teach you 6 steps on how you can actually overcome that problem and manage to make a proper internal shift so you can actually lose weight or get in shape and maintain that physique forever. Point number 1 is that your current identity is being challenged. Your identity is a way that you see yourself and is defined by who you are and what you do. So the first step I would ask you to do is to define your new values and ideals. And the second step is to act in line with those. So why you feel like things are effortful and hard right now is because you're taking actions that are not in line with your current identity. If you've been lazy, if you've been putting off working out, exercising, and you still see yourself as someone who is, not really a high performer, then going to the gym, eating well, taking care of yourself, sleeping right is all going to feel like effort. What you need to do is redefine your values and ideals and start acting in line with those. So here's some questions that you can ask yourself to develop a new identity. What is your ideal self like? How does he act? How does he talk? What are his values and ideals? What choices does he make? What does he do in the evening? And then what you want to do is literally write this down on a piece of paper, answer the questions and stick it up on your wall, or have it on a document or something, and you want to read through this every single day. And you want to ask yourself, am I acting in line with these questions or not? And when you do that, the mental effort and the friction within your mind will decrease. So it makes the habits like going to the gym, eating food, sleeping on time feel way easier. Number 2 is you need to start to develop something called a winning feeling. So most people make the mistake of thinking that you go to the gym with, la-di-da, if I go to the gym then I'm always just feel like going to the gym and I just go. No, that's not the case. I've learned to do something called invoke feelings of success. So my highlight of the gym session is not actually being in the gym. It is literally once I finish my session, I'll go to the fountain and I'll take a little tub of creatine and I'll put it inside my water, I'll shake it and I'll drink that on the walk back, having a nice pump, right? That's the winning feeling that I put in my mind. And before I go to the gym, if I don't feel like it, that's the mentality, that's the visualization I'll be playing in my mind before I go. So if you, for example, really like the feeling of having a nice arm pump, or you like the feeling of coming back home, freshening up after having a shower and, eating some really nice food, then you want to play that feeling within your mind before you go to the gym. And you want to cultivate that winning feeling. Because the key is if you feel successful, you will act successful. If you feel like a loser, you will act like a loser. Point number 3 is choice. You see, every time there's a lack of choice, things have always felt more difficult. So for me, when I used to work in a call center, I was working maybe 7-8 hours a day, right? And those hours were horrendous because I was sat in a box and everything was micromanaged for me, like the exact times that you spend on a call, the rest time that you have to have breaks for 10 minutes exactly. This was like a nightmare for me, right? Because I had no choice. So even though within my business right now, I'm probably working more, the work is more difficult, more creative, I have more pressure because I've got everything on myself, like I'm not getting no set wage, it feels easier in a weird way. And that is because I have a choice to do it. I'm choosing to do the work. So instead of having the mindset of I have to go to the gym, I have to eat this food, I have to go to sleep on time, you want to flip that to I get to go to the gym, or I choose to go to the gym, or I want to go to the gym. And once you start making these mindset shifts and saying that it is out of my own choice that I do it, the mental effort and the mental friction in your mind will begin to decrease way more. Point number 4 is to be hyper present. So you want to start becoming someone who is super objective and looking at the world through a realistic lens as close to as possible, without putting your own spin on things, right? So in the case of my client I spoke about, if I was asking him to be super objective, he could look at the fact that he has lost 7 kg in a pretty decent amount of time, and that's an objective fact. So he's excelling in his progress, which is good. So even though he feels like shit, he should look at the objective fact, and that should determine how he progresses and acts. The problem is that we all put our North Star as how we feel. So even though we make progress, if we feel like shit, then we will start to act like that. So you want to look at the facts, right? And the second point is you want to be super present. You always want to focus on what you've got to do right now and not even look too far ahead into the future, right? And with that being said, I'll tell you this, you actually never have to go to the gym. And I'll explain why. You don't actually have to go to the gym. What you have to do is get changed, then you put your shoes on, then you walk or travel, then you step into the gym, then you do one exercise, followed by another, and you repeat that, and then you finish the gym. And what you want to do when you're hyper present is focus on one task at a time. So first get changed, then put shoes on, then walk or travel, etc, etc. And then as you do that, you will end up finishing the main goal in itself, but you always want to break things down by being hyper present. The mistake that I have made many times and a lot of people make is you think about this whole massive trek that you have to do. So you have to get changed, put shoes on, do the reps, drink the water in between, time your rest, and you put all that together, you've got 50 different things you're aiming towards. It just feels like way too much effort and you're just not going to feel like doing it. Like imagine a sniper has to take out 30 people in 3 seconds, right? That's what's going in through your mind. But if you just do one thing at a time, you'll be able to take things off and the end result is you will get to your goal faster anyway, right? Every single person has the energy to get changed or put your shoes on, and everyone has the energy to take 5 steps outside your house or flat, wherever you're going, right? Break the big mountain into small tasks and be hyper present on those. Point number 5 is that problems don't exist, right? The problem is never the problem. It's the story that we tell ourselves about the problem that is a problem. And I learned this from a self-improvement YouTuber called Hamza. Once he said this to me, it sat in my mind and it's something that I've been repeating in my head so many times, right? If we keep reaffirming that something's mental effort, that something's hard, that something's difficult, then it will always be effort and difficult because we have defined it that way. The only time it will decrease in effort is when you have changed the definition of that thing. For me, when I started this business, it felt like massive amounts of stress because I've got to take care of this client, I've got to do this, I've got to do that, I've got to do all these things. And I was getting physical sensations that were not good within my body. Like I had stomach problems, digestive issues, and I thought I had eaten something bad, but it was literally just the stress of working that caused that to happen. But then what happened was I started to flip it and just told myself through a lot of reading and understanding that problem doesn't actually exist. The issue is that I'm telling myself a story that all this is extra stress, and that's what's making me ill and not well. If you just look at things objectively and you tell yourself a different story, then your body will start to react in a different way. So if you feel like going to the gym is hard, then you need to flip that script. Tell yourself a different story. For example, I'm someone who now acts in line with my values, my ideals. I'm now someone who's super disciplined. So for me, for example, I'll tell myself, look, I'm a business owner now. This is what we do. This is a story. I tell myself, instead of being I'm super stressed, this, that, the other, I have to deal with the challenges proactively and aggressively and take them head on. That's going to change the way I act completely. And it's the same way for you. If you switch your script, or I have to eat clean, I have to do this, I've got to do that, this just feels like effort. No, I choose to do that because I'm a high performer. I work in this way. I have high standards and I don't drop below them. The story you tell yourself will 100% change the way that you act, and that will then in turn change your results and what you get out of the work you put in. And number 6 is probably tying all this together, and it is your self-image. The mistake that we all make when we're starting a new journey is that you're always thinking of someone who's trying to get in shape, and this will always feel like effort. What you want to do is flip that, and you want to start seeing yourself as someone who's a high performer, who's already in shape, who's super focused and driven and happy. And then what you want to do is you want to start acting like that guy already today. So you don't act like yourself anymore, you don't listen to yourself anymore, you don't think the way that you think and act the way that you act, because the reason that you're fat and overweight is because you've listened to that person. So you have to switch your self-image to this guy. So once I've told you, for example, write out your ideal self, you will now act like that every single day. You will make your decisions based off of what he would do. Even though it may not feel right to you right now, that's the only way you will achieve that. And once you have done these 6 steps, your mind will reprogram and you will wake up and do things and see things in a different way, which will help you stay in shape, blow past your competition, and actually excel in the goals that you're working towards. Goodbye.